Welcome everyone. Today we have something special for you, because this video is not just about learning faster. It is about changing your entire life. Think about it. Everything you want in life sits behind one simple ability, the ability to learn. If you can learn fast, you can change fast. You can upgrade your skills, your income, your confidence, your health, your communication, your English, your business, anything. But if you learn slowly, you stay stuck for years. You keep watching others move ahead while you repeat the same month again and again. And here is the painful truth most people never accept. Most people are not slow because they are not intelligent. Most people are slow because they are using a broken learning method. They think learning is only watching, reading, collecting information, and hoping it sticks. But real learning is a skill. And once you learn how to learn, you can learn anything. That is why today we are going to talk about how to learn anything fast, the right way. Not with fake shortcuts, not with motivation that feels good for 5 minutes, but with a proven framework that builds real skill. In this video, I will explain a clear system in 4 phases. These phases are proven because they match how the brain builds skill, how champions train, and how real mastery is created. If you follow these phases in order, you will stop feeling confused, you will stop wasting time, and you will finally feel real progress every week. And as you learn how to master any skill, you'll also improve your English by listening and thinking in real context. Subscribe now. I upload powerful videos every single day to help you grow. Phase 1. Think like a master. Phase 1 is not about working harder. It is about thinking differently. Because before you touch the skill, before you start practicing, your mind needs the right system. If your thinking is wrong, you will waste effort. You will practice the wrong things. You will get tired. You will quit. But if your thinking is clear, your learning speed multiplies. Phase 1 is where you build the brain of a fast learner. Step 1. Meta-learning. Most people skip this step, and that is why they lose. Meta-learning means learning the skill of learning. It means you do not jump into a topic like a blind person running in a new city. You first understand the map. You understand what matters. You understand the rules. You understand the structure. Then you move fast, because now you are not guessing. Here's the difference. A normal learner says, "I want to learn this skill," and immediately starts watching random videos or reading random books. They collect information like a person collecting stones. After 2 weeks, they have a lot of stones, but no building, no house, no real skill. A fast learner says, "Before I start, let me understand how this skill is built." They ask powerful questions like, what are the core parts of this skill? What are the most common mistakes beginners make? What does good performance look like? What are the few key drills that create most progress? What should I practice first, second, and third? This is meta-learning. It is like building a blueprint before you build a house. Because without a blueprint, you will waste time building walls in the wrong place. Then you will break them and rebuild. That is slow learning. With a blueprint, you build once and you build right. That is fast learning. Imagine you are in a new city. You want to reach a destination fast. One person starts driving without a map. They keep taking random turns. Sometimes they go forward, sometimes they go backward. They stop and ask people. They get confused. They waste fuel and time. Another person opens GPS first. They see the route. They see where traffic is. They see the best path. Now they drive smoothly and reach fast. Meta-learning is GPS. When you meta-learn, you are not learning the skill yet. You are learning the route of the skill. That is why you become faster than most people. Meta-learning saves you from fake progress. Because many people feel busy and think they are learning, but they are only consuming. Their brain is full, but their skill is empty. Meta-learning stops that. It forces you to focus on what matters. And when you learn how the skill is structured, your confidence rises because confusion disappears. Confusion is the biggest enemy of speed. Clarity creates speed. So if you want to learn anything fast, never start with random information. Start with the blueprint. Step 2. Simplifying complex information. Most people get scared when they see complexity. Big words, big theories, big systems. They think, this is too hard for me. And they quit early. But complex things are not truly complex. They are often just simple things stacked together. The problem is, most people never break them down. Fast learners do something different. They simplify. They take something complex and ask, what is the simplest meaning of this? What is the basic idea under the big words? Can I explain it in plain language? Can I teach it to a beginner? Because the moment you simplify, you stop being a reader. You become an owner. When you read something and you feel impressed, that does not mean you learned it. Many people read a paragraph and say, wow, that's deep. But inside, they cannot explain what it means. That is not learning. That is entertainment. Learning means you can translate it into simple language. Because your brain remembers simple things. It forgets complicated things. So simplifying is not making it weak. Simplifying is making it usable. Imagine you buy a machine with 100 buttons. If no one explains what matters, you will feel confused. You will press random buttons. You might break it. You will stop using it. But then someone tells you, look, only 5 buttons matter for daily use. These 5 are enough. Everything else is optional. Suddenly you feel calm. Suddenly you can use it. Suddenly you feel progress. That is what simplifying does to learning. Most skills look like they have 100 buttons. But mastery is often just knowing the 5 buttons that matter most. And this step also builds power in your mind because it changes how you see yourself. You stop saying, this is too hard. You start saying, this is just many small pieces. I can learn it piece by piece. That mindset makes you unstoppable. Most people don't fail because they are weak. They fail because they feel overwhelmed. They try to learn everything at once. They see too many resources, too many opinions, too many methods, and their brain becomes tired. Then they blame themselves. But the real issue is not them. The real issue is the method. Phase 1 fixes that. Meta-learning gives you the map. Simplifying gives you control. And when you have a map and control, you stop fearing the skill. You start attacking it. That is how you learn anything fast. Step 3. Learn the 20% that gives 80% of results. The 80-20 principle of mastery. Most people waste years learning the wrong parts first. They try to learn everything equally. They try to be perfect everywhere. They overload their brain with too much information. And what happens? They get overwhelmed. They burn out. They quit. But masters don't learn everything. They learn the critical few. The 80-20 principle means 20% of inputs create 80% of results. In almost every skill, there are a few core components that give you most of the progress. The problem is, most beginners cannot see which 20% matters. That's why Phase 1 exists. Example: if someone tries to memorize 20,000 words, 500 grammar rules, and every accent variation, they will drown. But here's the truth. In daily English conversation, only about 2,000 to 3,000 words are used most of the time. If you master those high-frequency words and common sentence structures, you can communicate confidently. That's the 20%. The rest is refinement. But most learners start with rare words, complex grammar, or academic vocabulary, and then wonder why they feel stuck. Example: there are hundreds of chords in music, but if you learn just 5 to 7 major chords, you can play thousands of songs. Imagine someone trying to learn every chord before playing a single song. That person will quit. But someone who learns the most used chords first will feel progress in week 1. And early progress builds motivation. When you focus on the 20%, 3 things happen. 1. You feel progress faster. 2. You avoid overwhelm. 3. You build confidence early. Confidence accelerates learning speed, because when your brain feels success, it wants more. But when your brain feels confusion, it avoids effort. Ask these questions before starting. What are the most common actions in this skill? What do professionals use daily? What mistakes do beginners make? If I had only 30 days, what would I focus on? That's how you find your 20%. Learning fast is not about learning more. It's about learning smarter. Step 4. Focus on one thing. This step is simple, but it's painful. Because modern life trains your brain to multitask, and multitasking kills mastery. Let's be honest. Many people say, I'm learning coding. I'm learning English. I'm learning business. I'm learning fitness. I'm learning investing. At the same time. And after 6 months, they're average at all of it. Because focus was divided. And divided focus equals divided results. For example, sunlight versus laser. Sunlight is powerful, but it doesn't burn paper. Why? Because it's scattered. Now take that same light and concentrate it into a laser. That laser can cut steel. Same energy, different focus. Your brain works the same way. When you spread your attention across 5 skills, you weaken your power. When you focus on one skill intensely, you become dangerous. When you switch tasks every 10 minutes, your brain resets. You lose context. You waste mental energy. You reduce retention. But when you go deep into one skill, neural pathways strengthen. Patterns become clear. Confidence builds. Progress compounds. This is neuroscience. Your brain rewires through repetition in a focused environment, not through chaos. Many people don't lack talent. They lack commitment. They want fast results. But they don't want to sacrifice distraction. They want mastery, but they also want comfort. But mastery demands sacrifice. If you want to learn anything fast, you must decide what matters most right now, and then protect it like your life depends on it. Because your future does. Choose one primary skill for the next 30 to 90 days. Not forever. Just one focused sprint. Then, remove other learning goals, reduce distractions, schedule daily deep practice. Track only that skill. You will see 3 times to 5 times faster growth. You don't need to learn everything this year. You need to master one thing at a time. Speed does not come from chaos. Speed comes from clarity and concentration. Now, Phase 1 is complete. 1. Meta-learning. 2. Simplify complexity. 3. Focus on the 20%. 4. Focus on one thing. Phase 2. Build momentum fast. Step 1. Get early wins. Early wins are not small. Early wins are everything. An early win is a quick result that gives your brain a reward. And when your brain gets a reward, it wants to repeat the behavior. This is how you turn learning into a habit. Why early wins matter. Psychology. Your brain is designed to chase reward. If you practice and feel no reward, the brain labels it as pain and says, "Stop, this is useless." But early wins create dopamine. Dopamine is not just pleasure. Dopamine is the chemical of motivation. It is the signal that tells your brain, "This matters. Keep going." So if you want to learn anything fast, you must design the first week to create wins. Not massive wins, not perfection. Wins that are clear and measurable. If you're learning English, your early win is not mastering grammar. Your early win is speaking 10 basic sentences confidently without fear. For example, "Let me think about it." Can you repeat that? "I'm not sure, but I think..." "What do you mean?" "That sounds good to me." The moment you say these smoothly, you feel power, and you want more. If you're learning a gym skill, early win is not a perfect body. Early win is showing up 5 days in a row and feeling your energy rise. If you're learning editing or YouTube, early win is not a viral video. Early win is producing one clean video and feeling your skill improve. How to create early wins. Strategy. Choose the simplest version of the skill. Practice it daily for 5 to 7 days. Track progress in a visible way. Celebrate completion, not perfection. Because early wins do one powerful thing. They make you believe you're the kind of person who can learn. That belief is everything. When belief rises, speed rises. Step 2. The 3C protocol. If you want to learn fast, you don't need more intelligence. You need a system. The 3C protocol is a simple system that works for every skill. C1. Clarity. Clarity means knowing exactly what you are learning and why. Most people say, "I want to learn coding." But that's not clear. What kind of coding? For what purpose? What outcome? Clarity sounds like, "I will learn the basics of Python to automate simple tasks in 30 days. Now your brain has a target. Without clarity, you have confusion. And confusion kills action. Clarity is not motivation. Clarity is direction. When you have direction, you move faster. C2. Concentration. Concentration means deep practice without distraction. Most people practice while notifications are buzzing, phone is near, mind is jumping. That is not practice. That is pretending. Real concentration means you are fully in it. Because learning requires the brain to build new circuits. And those circuits build fastest in deep focus. A simple rule. If you can't give a skill 30 minutes of full focus, you will never master it. Not because you're weak, because the brain needs depth to change. C3. Consistency. Consistency means repeating the right practice daily, not huge hours, regular repetition, because the brain learns through frequency, not intensity. 1 day of 5 hours and then 6 days of 0 does not create mastery. But 45 minutes daily for 30 days creates a new identity. Consistency is how you beat everyone who depends on mood. Because mood changes, but a system doesn't. The 3C protocol is what makes learning unstoppable. Clarity gives direction. Concentration gives quality. Consistency gives growth. Step 3. Active learning versus passive consumption. This is one of the most important steps of the entire video. Because most people spend 90% of their learning time consuming. They watch videos, they read, they highlight, they take notes, but they don't do the thing. They feel productive, but their skill doesn't improve. That's why they stay stuck for years. Passive learning is when you only receive information. It feels safe because you don't risk mistakes. But it's a trap because skill is built through output, not input. You can watch 100 swimming videos and still drown in water because the body only learns by doing. Active learning is when you force your brain to produce, practice, recall, performance, creation, testing, teaching. Active learning makes you uncomfortable, and that discomfort is the sign of growth, because when you struggle, your brain is rewiring. For example, reading about lifting weights doesn't build muscle. You can study exercises for 10 hours. Your body will not change. But when you lift a weight and struggle, muscles break and rebuild stronger. Learning is the same. If you want skill, you must lift mentally. That means output. How to turn any topic into active learning. Simple tools. 1. Teach it in simple words. After learning something, explain it out loud like you're teaching a beginner. 2. Test yourself. Close the book or video and recall what you learned without looking. 3. Create something. If it's writing, write. If it's English, speak. If it's coding, build a small program. If it's design, create a mini project. 4. Use mini challenges. Give yourself a small daily task that forces output. Active learning makes mistakes visible, and visible mistakes are where growth lives. Phase 2 is about momentum. Early wins give proof. 3C protocol gives system. Active learning gives real skill. This is how learning becomes fast, because speed is not magic. Phase 3. Train like a professional. Step 1. Fall in love with repetition. Let me tell you the truth that separates winners from dreamers. Most people love starting. Very few people love repeating. And that is why most people never become great. Because every real skill is built the same way. Repetition. 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 Not exciting, not flashy, not new, but powerful. Your brain learns by building pathways. The first time you do something, the pathway is weak. It's like walking through a jungle one time. You barely made a path. But when you do it again and again, the path becomes clear. Over time, it becomes a road. Then it becomes a highway. That highway is called automatic skill. That's when you can do the thing without overthinking. That's when you become fast, because you are no longer struggling at the beginner level. Repetition is how your brain says, "This is important. I will keep this forever." When repetition feels boring, people think, "I'm not improving." But boredom is not failure. Boredom is the moment your brain is stabilizing the skill. This is the stage where most people quit. They want excitement. But excellence is built in routine. So the key is this. You must fall in love with repetition, because repetition is the language of mastery. Think about typing. When you were a beginner, every letter required focus. You searched for keys. You made mistakes. You were slow, but now you don't even think. Your fingers move automatically. What happened? Not talent, not magic. Repetition. Thousands of small repetitions. Typing is proof that repetition turns struggle into automatic power. Now apply that to any skill. Repetition is not doing the same thing lazily. Professional repetition has 3 rules. 1. Repeat the basics. Masters repeat basics more than beginners. 2. Repeat with awareness. Notice mistakes, adjust, improve. 3. Repeat until the skill becomes part of you, until it becomes natural. If you do this, your progress becomes unstoppable. If you want to learn anything fast, you must accept this. The world rewards people who can do boring things longer than others, because boring things create rare results. Step 2. Tighten the feedback loop. You don't improve by practicing a lot. You improve by practicing and correcting fast. If you repeat mistakes, you don't get better. You get worse. So the secret is not just repetition. The secret is repetition with fast feedback. A feedback loop means you perform. You get feedback. What was wrong? What was right? You adjust immediately. You perform again. The shorter the time between mistake and correction, the faster the brain learns. That's why some people improve in 30 days and others take 3 years. Not because of intelligence, because of feedback speed. Imagine driving with GPS. You take a wrong turn. GPS immediately says, rerouting. You correct fast and get back on track. Now imagine no GPS. You take a wrong turn and keep driving for 30 minutes before realizing you're lost. That's slow learning. Feedback is your GPS. It prevents wasted effort. It keeps you on the right road. Step 3. Pick the right teachers. Let's be honest. You can work extremely hard. But if you are learning from the wrong source, you will move in circles. Not all teachers are equal. Not all information is helpful. And not all advice applies to your level. The quality of your teachers determines the speed of your progress. A great teacher doesn't just give information. A great teacher removes confusion, highlights the important parts, corrects mistakes quickly, shows you what actually works, saves you years of trial and error. Learning alone is possible, but learning with the right guidance is faster. Because teachers compress experience. They give you what took them years to discover. That's leverage. Imagine 2 gym beginners. Person A goes to the gym alone, watches random videos, tries different exercises daily, changes routine every week. No clear progression. After 6 months, small improvement. Person B hires a coach for 3 months. Coach fixes posture, designs program, tracks progress, adjusts weights, prevents injury. After 6 months, major transformation. Same time, different guidance, different results. The teacher didn't give magic. The teacher gave clarity and correction. But be careful. Choose wisely. Not every loud person is a good teacher. Pick teachers who actually practice what they teach. Show results, not just talk. Explain simply. Focus on fundamentals. Correct you honestly. Avoid teachers who overcomplicate everything. Sell shortcuts. Promise instant mastery. Focus more on motivation than structure. The right teacher speeds you up. The wrong teacher slows you down without you realizing it. If you cannot afford a mentor, your teacher can be a well-structured book, a focused course, a high-level creator with proven system, a learning community. But do not jump between 20 teachers. Consistency in guidance builds speed. Step 4. Respect the craft. Serious attitude equals serious progress. This is where amateurs and professionals separate. If you treat a skill casually, it will reward you casually. If you treat it with respect, it will reward you with mastery. Respecting the craft means showing up even when you don't feel like it. Studying fundamentals deeply, not rushing advanced stages, valuing quality over speed, accepting the learning curve. Many people say they want to learn fast, but secretly, they don't respect the craft. They want results without discipline. They want skill without structure. but every serious skill demands respect. In martial arts, beginners often want to learn flashy moves, but masters spend years practicing basic stances and punches. Why? Because the basics create power. If the foundation is weak, advanced moves collapse. Same in business, same in English, same in coding, same in music, same in fitness. Respect means you don't skip the boring stage. Because the boring stage builds the powerful stage. When you respect the craft, you don't quit during plateaus. You don't blame the system. You don't rush. You don't jump to something new. You stay consistent, and consistency multiplies skill. Disrespect creates impatience. Impatience creates shortcuts. Shortcuts create weak foundations. Weak foundations collapse. People who master something fast are not lucky. They are disciplined in how they treat the skill. They say, "This matters." They block time. They protect focus. They track improvement. They analyze mistakes. They repeat fundamentals. That energy signals to your brain that this skill is important. And when your brain believes something is important, it invests energy in it. That's neuroscience. Phase 3 is where learning stops being casual and starts becoming serious. And seriousness creates speed. Phase 4. Develop a winner's mindset. Step 1. Have courage to get worse. If you are not willing to look stupid, you will never look great. Most people want improvement without embarrassment. They want to be good instantly. They want to start as a professional. They want to skip the ugly phase. But the ugly phase is not optional. It is the entrance fee. When you start anything new, you will be slow. You will make mistakes. You will forget things. You will feel awkward. And if your ego cannot handle that, you quit. That is why most people never truly live. Because living requires growth, and growth requires discomfort. For example, when you first step on ice, you wobble, you fall, you feel embarrassed. But the person who becomes a great skater is not the one who falls less. It is the one who falls more, stands up more, and keeps practicing. Because falling is feedback. Falling is training. Falling is the skill being built inside you. Courage is not loud. Courage is not dramatic. Courage is showing up while you're still bad, practicing while you still feel slow, speaking while you still make mistakes, continuing while your progress feels invisible. You need courage because learning is a temporary humiliation, but mastery is permanent confidence. So remember this: you don't need talent. You need courage to be terrible long enough to become great. Step 2. Build obsession. Now let's talk about the real engine behind fast learning. Obsession. Not toxic obsession, not burnout obsession, but healthy obsession. The kind that makes you think about the skill even when you're not practicing. The kind that makes you curious, hungry, driven. Because the truth is, people who learn fast don't only practice more. They think about the skill differently. They are emotionally connected to it. They don't treat it like homework. They treat it like identity. Imagine, a student studies for an exam. They forget after the exam. But a sports fan knows the players, the tactics, the history, the stats, the schedule. They didn't study. They absorbed it. Why? Because they are emotionally invested. That is obsession. Your brain remembers what it loves. So if you want to learn anything fast, don't just practice. Fall in love with the process. How to build healthy obsession. 1. Create a personal meaning. Ask, why do I want this skill? What will it change in my life? 2. Build a daily ritual, not just practice, a ritual, a time, a place, a routine. 3. Track your progress. Progress makes obsession stronger. It becomes addictive. 4. Surround yourself with the skill. Your environment should remind you daily. Obsession is what keeps you practicing when motivation disappears. Because obsession makes the skill feel like part of you. Step 3. Embrace your uniqueness. Many people learn slowly because they are trying to be someone else. They copy someone's method, voice, style, speed, personality. And deep inside they feel, I can never be like them. That comparison crushes progress. But here is the truth. You are not here to become a copy. You are here to become a version of yourself that is fully developed. And that happens when you embrace your uniqueness. Imagine two chefs cook the same dish. One adds more spice. One adds more herbs. One is slow and precise. One is fast and intuitive. Both are great. Why? Because mastery is not one style. Mastery is skill plus your personality. When you embrace your uniqueness, you stop overthinking. You stop comparing. You learn with confidence. You build your own way of doing the skill. And when you build your own style, learning becomes natural. Natural learning is faster than forced learning. How to embrace your uniqueness. While learning. 1. Learn the fundamentals first. Rules first, style later. 2. Copy for structure, not identity. Copy the technique, not the personality. 3. Adjust based on your strengths. If you learn better with speaking, speak. If you learn better with writing, write. If you learn better with visuals, use visuals. Your brain has its own learning fingerprint. Respect it. Powerful reminder. The world does not reward copies. The world rewards originals. So, yes, learn from the best, but don't disappear in their shadow. Use them as a ladder, not as a cage. Phase 4 is the mindset of champions. Courage to get worse. Obsession to keep going. Uniqueness to build your own style. Phase 5. Stay in the game. Keep doing the week. Most people don't lose because they are not capable. They lose because they disappear. They show up once. They start strong. They get excited. They practice for 3 days. And then life happens. They get busy. They get tired. They feel bored. They miss one day. And then the mind whispers the most dangerous lie. I broke the streak. It's over. So they stop. Not because the skill is impossible, but because their consistency was fragile. So Phase 5 teaches you the real secret behind learning anything fast. You don't need perfect days. You need repeated weeks. Because mastery is not built in one heroic session. Mastery is built in a boring, powerful rhythm. Week after week. A week is small enough to manage, but large enough to create real progress. A week is the perfect learning unit. Because in 7 days, you can repeat enough times to build memory. You can see patterns. You can notice weaknesses. You can improve in a measurable way. You can feel momentum. But most people never give themselves 7 consistent days. They give themselves random days. And random days create random results. Many people think learning fast requires an extreme routine. They say, I need 3 hours every day. I need a perfect schedule. I need perfect mood. I need a perfect environment. No, that perfection mindset is what kills progress. Because when the routine cannot be perfect, they do nothing. Professionals don't do that. Professionals understand. A small session done consistently beats a big session done rarely. Because the brain is built through repetition and frequency. So your goal is not to have the greatest day. Your goal is to have the greatest week. Then repeat that week again. Your brain learns by strengthening neural connections. Every time you practice, those pathways get stronger. But if you stop for too long, the pathway weakens. So if you practice once, then stop for 5 days, you are constantly restarting. That's why learning feels slow. But if you practice daily, even for a short time, your brain stays warm. It stays connected. It stays ready. This is why consistency is speed. Consistency is not slow. Inconsistent learning is slow. Consistent learning is fast because it removes restarting. Restarting is what wastes time. Imagine you want to boil water. If you heat the water for 2 minutes, then turn the stove off for 10 minutes, the water cools. Then you heat again for 2 minutes, then stop. You can do that all day, and the water may never boil. That is how most people learn. Short effort, long breaks, restart, repeat. But if you keep the stove on consistently, even at medium heat, the water eventually boils. That boiling point is mastery. You don't need extreme heat. You need consistent heat. That is, keep doing the week. Here is a professional weekly system that makes learning inevitable. 1. Create a weekly minimum. This is your non-negotiable, not the perfect plan. The minimum plan, like 30 minutes a day for 6 days, 1 day for review, or 20 minutes daily for 7 days. The point is, it must be small enough that you cannot say no, because the enemy is not difficulty, the enemy is excuses. 2. Schedule your practice, like a meeting. Not, if I have time. If you wait for free time, you will learn slowly forever. Decide a fixed time, morning or night, and treat it like a serious appointment with your future. 3. Make it impossible to forget. Your environment should remind you. A notebook open on your desk, a calendar mark, a phone reminder, a sticky note, because the brain forgets what's not visible. 4. Track weekly proof. At the end of the week, measure something simple. How many times did I practice? What improved? What still feels weak? What will I focus on next week? Tracking turns learning into a game, and games create motivation. 5. Use never miss twice. This rule is life-changing. If you miss 1 day, okay, but never miss twice. Because missing twice becomes a pattern, and patterns become identity. So you don't panic after 1 miss, you simply return the next day. That is professional behavior. Something powerful happens after a few weeks. You stop needing motivation. You stop negotiating. You stop asking, should I practice today? Because it becomes automatic. It becomes who you are. And when practice becomes identity, learning becomes fast naturally. You are no longer pushing yourself. You are simply living your system. That is mastery. This is one of the saddest facts about life. Most people quit in the valley. They quit when the progress is invisible. They quit when the excitement is gone. But the real progress is happening underground, just like a seed. You water it every day. For weeks, you see nothing. Then one day, it breaks the soil. And suddenly you think, it happened overnight. But it didn't happen overnight. It happened because you kept doing the week. The seed didn't grow in 1 day. It grew because you stayed consistent when it looked useless. That is how every skill grows. Learning anything fast is not about being special. It's about staying consistent longer than the average person is willing to stay consistent. That's it. That's the truth. And that truth can change your whole life. Listen to me. You are not slow. You are not incapable. You are not talented. You are simply untrained. And training is a choice. The world is full of people who want a better life. But the world is also full of people who quit too early. Don't be one of them, because the person you want to become is not far away. They are built through weeks, quiet weeks, boring weeks, hard weeks, unseen weeks, weeks where nobody claps for you, weeks where you feel average, weeks where you wonder if it's working, but you keep going anyway. Because deep inside, you know something. Your future deserves your discipline. So promise yourself this: I will not stop after a bad day. I will not stop after a slow week. I will not stop when I feel bored. I will keep doing the week. And one day, you will look back and realize you didn't just learn a skill. You became a different person. A person who finishes. A person who grows. A person who learns anything fast because they never quit. So start today. Start small. Start imperfect. But start and keep doing the week. Because if you can do that, mastery is not a dream. Mastery is a schedule. And you can follow it. Now go learn. Now go build. Now go become. You are closer than you think.